Okay. Let's get going. Let's get doing it. What was I doing? Oh yeah, I was getting the memory. This is right. Then I'm gonna go over here and do this duel. Try and take out two boys.
Someone's sneaking about.
How do I get to this memory? I don't remember. Oh. Well, that answers that question. Is there anybody in here? I feel like there shouldn't be, since it's like right at her lair. The webs of fate.
I walked across the plains and deserts, the stones of Gorgoroth, the fields.
So these are fun.
I left pieces of myself behind.
We have
I
to
no longer needed.
move this
I lost.
until
This is how I
the picture lines up.
become something new, without leaving parts of yourself behind.
Easier said than done, actually. There it is. You know, kind of give us a, like, half a second clip. So yeah. Webs of Fate will reveal truth of Shelout's past and Mordor's future. Find them all to unlock the Cluster of Spiders skill upgrade. So, one of our upgrades. Fair form. Asked him plainly, "When you look upon my form, what do you see? A monster? A temptress?" He would not answer. "Look deeper," I said, "for I am not the masks I wear. In this, Sauron and I were the same." Oh yeah, we've unlocked these. Talion, the Gravewalker. Could you really rest for all eternity, knowing that you had the chance to stop him, but did nothing? The time has come for a new ring. Talion's life is one of perseverance through tragedy. A ranger captain stationed at the Black Gate between Gondor and Mordor, Talion battled the servants of Sauron when they attacked the fortress. Talion fought bravely but was captured, then forced to watch as the Black Hand of Sauron slew his wife and son. Talion was the next to fall to the Black Hand's blade, but instead of dying, he found himself banished from death and bound to an elven wraith, Celebrimbor. The two inhabited Talion's body, and Talion found himself denied the peace of the afterlife with his family. Seeking revenge against Sauron and the three servants who murdered his family, the Hammer, the Tower, and the Black Hand, Talion and Celebrimbor fought a guerrilla war against the orcs of Mordor, avenged Talion's family, and fought Sauron to a standstill. Now Talion seeks to end Sauron's dominion over Mordor and save the rest of Gondor from the fate of the doomed soldiers of the Black Gate. To this end, he and Celebrimbor have fashioned a new ring of power. They hope will give him the upper hand. Celebrimbor. I shaped the history of Middle-earth. I crafted the rings of power. Last of the House of Fëanor, Celebrimbor, Hand of Silver, and Sindarin, was the greatest of the elven craftsmen, responsible for crafting the rings of power. Working with Sauron, Celebrimbor made 16 great rings for the men and dwarves. Without Sauron's knowledge, he made 3 more rings for the elves, yet he was deceived by Sauron, who crafted the one ring to dominate the other rings. Sauron then captured Celebrimbor and directed him to further perfect the One Ring, inscribing it with the Tengwar script. Realizing the scope of Sauron's ambition, Celebrimbor escaped with the One Ring. Using the One Ring's power to raise an army of Uruks, Celebrimbor fought Sauron for dominance over Mordor. In a titanic battle against Sauron, Celebrimbor defeated the Dark Lord but lost the One Ring when it slipped off his finger and onto Sauron's before the killing blow. In revenge, Sauron murdered Celebrimbor's family before his eyes, then killed Celebrimbor with his own smithing hammer. But with Celebrimbor's fate bound to the One Ring, he was doomed to remain a wraith until the One Ring is unmade. Celebrimbor's spirit possessed Talion's body when the ranger died at the hands of the Black Hand of Sauron. Celebrimbor had been a wraith so long that he didn't initially remember his name or past, but with Talion's help, he regained his memories, including the memory of how to forge a new Ring of Power. Few in Mordor know Celebrimbor by name, but many know him as the Bright Lord, a union of Talion and Celebrimbor. The present-day orcs who flock to the Bright Lord's fortresses don't realize that the Bright Lord that they've heard about in folktales is the same historical figure, Celebrimbor himself, who took the Bright Lord moniker centuries ago when he first strode against Sauron. Fucking book. Weaver of Fate, last child of Ungoliant, let us master this unhappy world. Sauron. I serve none but myself. Shelob. Shelob's presence in Mordor predates that of Sauron. She is the last child of an ancient evil named Ungoliant, and many of Middle-earth's malign spiders, including those of Mirkwood, are Shelob's descendants. To most, she is known as by the form of a great spider, which inspires fear in orcs and men alike. When Talion and Celebrimbor forge the new ring, she snatches Celebrimbor away and exchanges him for the ring. The visions of future she grants Talion guide his path through the siege of Minas Ithil and beyond. An uneasy alliance begins between the three, though as Celebrimbor is wont to remind Talion, while Shelob might be the enemy of Sauron, it's unclear whether she is their ally. God, look at all these people. Idril. The stories of the past shape us, they damn us, they hold forth an ideal for us to live up to. Most of us fail, but we strive and that's what matters. Second Captain Idril. Second Captain Idril is a shield maiden and the only child of Minas Ithil's military leader, General Castamir, which is why he keeps her from the fucking fighting. She is a trained soldier defending against the Witch King's siege and is eager to prove herself in battle. Idril is strong-willed, proud, and very conscious of coming from a military family that has served Minas Ithil for generations. She has trained all her life, but the siege of Minas Ithil is her first true experience of war. She considers herself a custodian of the city and its foremost historian. Idril's mother died during an orc raid when Idril was only 11, so Idril has mostly had to raise herself. This has made her self-sufficient and relentless in pursuit of her goals. As an adolescent, her goal was to avenge her mother, and she repeatedly slipped into Cirith Ungol to attack orc encampments. After growing weary of Gondorian patrols returning his daughter to safety, Castamir enrolled Idril in military so she'd have a fighting chance when she inevitably sought orcs to slay. Before the siege of Minas Ithil, she spent much of her free time cataloging the vast collection of artifacts in Minas Ithil's Great Hall. She is familiar with its treasures, though the workings of some, like the Palantir, remain mysterious to her. Castamir. Minas Ithil stands not because of its walls, but because of its people. We sit at the edge of the very dark sea, and we hold back the tide. General Castamir. General Castamir is the leader of Minas Ithil's military forces, a proud son of Gondor and a decorated war hero. Many see him as the only thing keeping Sauron's overwhelming siege forces at bay. He is well respected, but a demanding leader with a practical and hard-nosed perspective that enables him to find unconventional solutions and take calculated risks to achieve his goals. Castamir came from a military family following in the footsteps of his father and grandfather. He has a hardened exterior that doesn't falter, but an affectionate relationship with his daughter Idril, whom he loves above all else. While he appears humorless, a closer look reveals an intelligent man who is deeply preoccupied with the fate of his city, and is beginning to show the strains of it. Castamir is smart enough to know a hopeless situation when he sees it, yet practical enough to wrest what advantages he can from the enemy. Daegor. I never wanted to be a leader, but killing orcs comes naturally to me, so here we are. Sergeant Daegor. Those who knew Daegor as a child described him as a bit off, and someone who didn't always play well with other children. Daegor never threw off his reputation as he matured, but he did develop an undeniable talent. He's a natural when it comes to killing. He discovered this talent as an adolescent when a trio of bandits mistook him for an easy target. He soon joined the ranks of Gondor's finest and quickly established a reputation as a loner and a killer. Daegor's superiors repeatedly pushed to promote him, but he declined, insisting that he was a fighter, not a leader. He only relented when they told him he'd be given his choice of missions if he led his own men. Today his units draw in those who want only one thing. A chance to kill. Tyrandor. So these are all the people we helped. If the fate of Middle-earth would be decided at Minas Ithil, then that is my post. Tyrandor comes from a military family with a long history of service to Gondor. He forbears all served in the garrison of Minas Ithil, training for war, but knowing, thanks to the long dormancy of Sauron, only peace. Throughout their service, these men, however noble their service, faced no greater enemies than boredom and routine. For the first few years of his service, Tyrandor's situation was the same. At times he yearned for battle, to be tested, to be of real service to his kingdom and its people. With this yearning always came a pang of guilt that he should be dissatisfied with the peace that had been so hard won. All this fell away when the siege banners came over the horizon. Since then, the only days Tyrandor is not on the wall are those when he is raiding behind enemy lines. Harion. You trogs walk around Mordor like you own the place. Well, you don't, and you never will. Harion has the distinction of being the only soldier in Minas Ithil to achieve the rank of sergeant 3 times, because he's been demoted twice. God. You know, once shame on me, twice shame on, or once shame on you, twice shame on me. 3 times, what the fuck are you doing? As a recruit, Harion made a name for himself with an aggressive, can-do attitude. But his superiors found his demeanor abrasive. He was demoted and nearly cashiered for striking a superior officer. He rose through the ranks a second time, only to find his rank reduced for dereliction of duty after an off-duty celebration grew out of control. Now it's his 3rd ascension through the army's ranks, and Harion is doing everything he can to keep his temper under control. Even so, Baranor must repeatedly remind him to save it for the orcs. Yorath and Deerhail. On winds and waters you may cross, see mountains white and blue. But on your road let's not forget the love I have for you. Yorath's song. Yorath met Talion in Minas Tirith when he was a young soldier, then joined him in near exile after Talion slew a nobleman who attacked her. Following Talion to his new posting among the rangers of the Black Gate, Yorath gave birth to their son Deerhail. There. The family grew up amid the military encampment, accustomed to the Spartan conditions and life on the frontier. Then Sauron's orcs attacked the Black Gate. Despite Talion's efforts to keep his wife and son safe, the Black Hand of Sauron captured all 3. Talion was forced to watch the Black Hand murder Yorath and Deerhail. The Black Hand then slit Talion's throat as well, but Celebrimbor's spirit found a home in Talion's fallen form. The duo arose from the death and eventually killed the Black Hand, avenging Talion's wife and child. Jesus. We're not done yet. Still got more reading. Sauron. Sauron's armies. He has the Nazgul, but his true power is knowing the weaknesses of his enemies. Originally an immortal spirit called Mire, Sauron is older than Middle-earth itself. From the beginning of time, Sauron wished to bring order to the world. He would do through the power of his craft and his alliances. He joined the first Dark Lord, Morgoth, until a war with the elves eventually cast Morgoth out beyond the world. Sauron escaped and hid in Middle-earth, but he survived, and he had learned from his master. He would do what Morgoth could not. So, I've never read the Silmarillion or any of those works, so I don't know much about Morgoth. I would love to see more materials pre-Lord of the Rings. Like Silmarillion stuff. But I don't know if there's a market for it, which is upsetting. Well, there is a market for it, but I don't know if people would be that interested in it without them embellishing the writings. I don't know that for sure without reading them, but I've heard they're not as interesting. If that's the case, that's not great. Anyway, Sauron formed that might not have been the right wording. Anyway, Sauron formed an alliance with the elven jewelsmith Celebrimbor, and together they created the Rings of Power. In secret, however, Sauron created the One Ring to dominate all the others. Sauron poured much of himself into the One Ring, which made him more powerful, but also more vulnerable. After the One Ring was lost, Sauron's ability to take physical form became limited. He has returned to Mordor and rules his armies through the shadows of Barad-dûr. If he is not stopped, he will assume physical form once more, and his armies will not be contained within Mordor any longer. Forthog, Michael Forgery, 1973 to 2016. Okay. I don't know what is that. Okay. Oh. A legend amongst the orcs of Mordor, Forthog, Orc Slayer is an unstoppable warrior who steps from the shadows to save Mordor's mightiest heroes. This is a, this is a memory to one of their executive producers. So that's kind of cool. Mike Forthog Forgy was an executive producer and our great friend here at Monolith. We lost Mike to cancer during the development of Shadow of War and want to remember and honor him with a little bit of immortality in Mordor. The legendary Forthog Orc Slayer is our way to remember Mike as he lived, always ready to leap into the fray and save the game whenever and wherever he was most needed. That's kind of cool. I've never read this one. I'll be honest, I haven't read all of these before. So doing the readings is kind of nice. I didn't know they did that. We've got a lot more to read still. Mount Doom. Mountain of Fate. Mount Doom was his forge. It was the source of his power, and it will be the source of his destruction. Celebrimbor. The fiery heart of Mordor, Mount Doom is a massive volcano, also known as Amon Amarth, Mountain of Fate, or Urdruin, Fiery Mountain. Sauron forged the One Ring at Mount Doom, and later Celebrimbor perfected it there, then stole it. And thus, it is the only place where it can truly be destroyed. The mountain has a preternatural connection to Sauron, lying dormant when Sauron is not present in the world and flaring with eruptions when the Dark Lord is active. Within Mount Doom is Samath Nar, the chamber where Sauron fashioned the One Ring, and where Celebrimbor and Talion would come to craft the new Ring of Power. Sindarin for Chambers of Fire, Samath Nar is often deserted, for the orcs believe it to be a cursed place and do not approach it willingly. Minas Ithil, Gondor's last hope. Minas Ithil has many names: the Tower of the Moon, the Fair and the Radiant, the Forgotten City, but to me it is home. Idril. Minas Ithil, the Tower of the Rising Moon, is Sindarin, is a fortified city on the western edge of Mordor, and the last refuge of men in that land. Founded by the refugees after Numenor's destruction, the city was built of white marble to catch and reflect the moonlight. It softly glows in the twilight and when the moon is high in the sky. A sapling of the white tree, Gondor's symbol, was planted here as early as the Second Age, but Isildur removed it when Sauron threatened Minas Ithil during the War of the Last Alliance. After Sauron's defeat in that war, Minas Ithil was restored as a Gondorian fortress. It remains so to this day, that the orcs of Mordor draw ever closer to taking the only place in Mordor, beyond the reach of the returned Dark Lord. The fortress protects more than the men within its walls. However, it guards one of the Palantir seeing stones made by the elves in a bygone age. Gondor, Jewel of the West. Gondor is vast, and it is true. Even at the edge of Mordor, where darkness threatens to swallow us, Gondor will survive, even if we do not. Idril. The greatest realm of men, at the end of the Third Age, Gondor traces its heritage to the Númenórean explorers from the Western Sea who settled it centuries ago. Founded by Isildur and his brother Anarion, Gondor has long stood as a counterweight to Mordor. Sauron went to war with Gondor and the other nations of men shortly after the island of Númenor collapsed beneath the waves. But the last alliance of men and elves defeated him when Isildur cut the One Ring from Sauron's finger. A succession of kings descended from Anarion ruled the realm until the Witch King of Angmar lured Eärnur into a solitary quest, from which he never returned. Since Eärnur's disappearance, Gondor has been ruled by a steward, a hereditary position that exercises the powers of the king until someone of Isildur and Anarion's line appears to reclaim the throne. Stewards disdain the trappings of royalty and dismiss the likelihood that a king will ever return. Gondor's fortunes have waned as of late, As Sauron has grown more powerful, western regions have come under the assault by the forces from Mordor, Easterling tribes, and Corsairs along its southern shores. Gondorians on the realm's frontier in places like Minas Ithil fear that they'll be the next to fall to darkness. The Black Gate, Mordor's great rampart. One does not simply walk into Mordor. Its black gates are guarded by more than just orcs. Boromir. Great quote, memed to hell and back. Moranon, the Black Gate of Mordor, is an immense wall built across Cirith Gorgor, the pass that serves as Mordor's northwest entrance. Built by Sauron himself in the Second Age, the Black Gate was in Gondor's possession when Talion was stationed as captain there. The Black Hand of Sauron attacked the Black Gate, slew Talion's family, and began the ritual that ended in Celebrimbor and Talion being bound together. Rohan, land of the Horse Lords. Let this be the hour when we draw swords together. Fell deeds wake. Now for wrath, now for ruin, and the Red Dawn. Theoden. That's a great quote as well. Right before they ride out and finish the siege or break the siege of Helm's Deep. God, great movies. Anyway, the grasslands of Rohan to Mordor's northwest are known for the hardy farmers and herdsmen who call it home, the clans of the Rohirrim. A landlocked nation, Rohan is known for its exceptional horses and the peerless cavalry that patrols their borders. Rohan rose from the various horse clans in the Second Age who aided Gondor in the battle against the orcs of Mordor. Yorl the Young was Rohan's first king, and his line lasted until Helm Hammerhand's death. The second line of kings came under Helm's nephew, Freela, and lasts to this day, aided by the council of the wizard Sauron, whose Tower of Isengard lies within Rohan's borders. Alright. Just a reminder that this is before Lord of the Rings. Anyway, Oscar, Celebrimbor's bow. Let my arrows fly true, and their target cease to be. Celebrimbor's bow was a gift from Narvi, a dwarven maker who was Celebrimbor's collaborator in life. The two created many wonders of Middle-earth, including the doors of Durin that lead to the dwarves' realm of Moria. The arms of the bow have an inscription on them in Kuzdul, the language of the dwarves. Narvi had me made for the ringsmith and for his loyal service. His arrows, may they truly hit their mark. Acharn. It reminds me of a simpler time and of why I fight. The dagger Acharn was once a sword belonging to Dirhael, Talion's son, broken when the orcs seized the Black Gate and killed Talion's family. The sword has an intact hilt and several inches of undamaged blade, making it a serviceable and silent weapon. As is Gondorian customs, Talion gave the makeshift blade a name in Sindarin. Acharn means vengeance. He later inscribed it with the following in Sindarin: a dagger secret in the night, terrifying evildoers who must give back with blood. Swallows pain and red becomes black. Cool. I don't remember any of that, but that's good to know. Talion's sword. Upon the sword I swear, never shall I rest while Sauron stirs in the shadows. Urfael, Sindarin for the fiery gleaming brilliance, was Talion's sword in life, serving as his primary weapon when he was a ranger of Gondor. He retrieved it when the Black Hand of Mordor banished him from death, and he wielded it ever since. For Talion, the sword is an extension of the self and a distillation of all his ranger training. When Talion swore vengeance for his family's death, he did so on the sword in keeping with Gondorian tradition. The Hydir. Mordor seeing stones. With each tower we reclaim, the Witch King's vision diminishes. Rough imitations of the Palantir, Hydir are Sauron's means of overseeing Mordor. Like a Palantir, they enable long-distance observation and communication, though they lack the range and power of a Palantir. Like a Palantir, each Hydir is fashioned of a dark crystal and invested with the Dark Lord's powers. Mirian, ancient coinage. It seems uncommonly light, yet hard as flint when to the touch. Coins made of dwarven mithril, Mirian was the primary currency used by the elves long ago in Middle-earth, When he first arose to power, Sauron ordered Mirian confiscated or destroyed, so Mordor is one of the few places where Mirian still exists. Even there, it is a curiosity to the orcs who find it, and a rare artifact for those who know its ancient history. And finally, the new ring, Talon and Celebrimbor's weapon. The time has come for a new ring. Seeking a means to counter Sauron's influence in Mordor, Talion and Celebrimbor fashioned a new ring of power in Samath Nor. The same place Sauron forged the One Ring. Because Sauron does not currently possess the One Ring, they believe the new ring is free of his influence. Because Celebrimbor was the greatest jewelsmith of his age and remembers the techniques Sauron taught him, the new ring is every bit as powerful as the 9 rings of power, and every bit as dangerous. That would technically make it worse than the One Ring, but that's neither here nor there. Inscribed upon the new ring are these words: I renounce the blessed realm to redeem the land of shadow, and bind the walls of Arda. In place of the Dark Lord, you shall have light undiminished. All shall fear me and rejoice. Cool. That was a lot. I know it was a lot because it was almost the entire hour. But that's okay. We're gonna go here now. I think we're technically in a stronghold. Yep. Shulgumi, Shaka. Oh, it's an outpost. Same shit. Dude, the sprint is so much faster in this game. Like, it's ungodly fast. I don't know the weaknesses of the other one that's in here. I could get a worm and figure that out. Or I could just go. Hello, gentlemen. Goodbye, gentlemen. Ishmael's Dead Killer versus Unknown Captain. Let's do it. Rug the Mad.
You're filth! Dirty, stinking, rotten-fetid bother!
We got 2 assholes over here. Neither of them are very strong. You're vulnerable to stealth and ranged attacks. I don't know if the big boy is vulnerable to stealth and ranged attacks, though. Oh, he killed him. I wasn't expecting that already, but I suppose that works. He became a berserker and gained a level. I got 700 XP for sitting here, so that's cool.
The road is long and short.
Alright, I stabbed him. Feral Tribe. The Feral Tribe. Oh, I also have Berserker now. Sauron will be pleased with the beasts of Mordor feed. Sauron will be pleased to see the beasts of Mordor feed upon your despicable corpse. Ashbaka of the Feral Tribe. Mordor has denizens more fearsome than any orc, and the Feral Tribe takes those beasts and as inspiration for their acts of savagery. They live among beasts such as Caragors and Graugs when they can, and they adorn their clothing and armors with fetishes and trophies from the beasts they've hunted. The Feral Tribe's reverence for Mordor's beasts extends beyond clothing, though. In battle they roar, snarl, and rend flesh with a ferocity that rivals any Caragor. Excuse me. Berserker, fueled by fury. Hit me, strike me, feed my rage, and I will tear you asunder. Blorg the Howler. I love these names. Berserker orcs lash out in anger at the world around them, using that rage as to fuel an array of heedless charges, mighty throws, and sweeping attacks that leave only ruined enemies behind. These orcs are beyond reason in battle, possessed by a fury that other orcs have come to fear. These orcs are at their most dangerous when they're clinging to life by just a thread. The same rage that powers their attacks can heal their wounds when those desperate blows land. Alright, cool. I don't know anything else about you other than you're dead. I got a bow. That man tried to come at me. I got a bow and a sword. The Numenorian sword is better. So we're going to put that on. You've unlocked a new skin for Talion. Unlocked skins can be equipped for Talion here. Selected skins will not impact Talion's weapons, animations, or abilities. Skins of characters other than Talion are only cosmetic. Talion's voice will remain the same regardless of skin selection, with some exceptions. Cinematic scenes will still show Talion's standard skin. Characters will not acknowledge the change in Talion's appearance. Alright, so we have base Talion. We have Galadriel. That's spoilers. We have this man. Also spoilers. Then we have Celebrimbor. And we have... That's spoilers. Fuck. I hate this. Why did they let me look at this? This is stupid. I don't want to travel, so we're not going to do that, but I don't really care for the skins regardless. Oh, we can modify gear. Cannot upgrade gear matches or exceeds Talion's level. Good to know. I forgot about that. Better bow. Nice. Upgrade Talion's... So I can upgrade Urfael, which is kind of neat. I'm not going to waste my money on that, but I can do that. Character. So we're almost to the next level, which I want this. We need our execution. When your might is full, aim at an enemy with L and press, yeah. Oh, just when might is full. Okay, that's different. I don't really know how that works, but that is different. Now we do have Drain. We don't have Domination yet. We have Mighty Swing. We don't have any of this shit yet. Anyway. What's the button for army? What? I don't remember the way to get to here quickly. So right now we've got one dead guy. Captain Baranor. We haven't met Baranor yet, but there he is. We met all the other ones, though. Alright, so I'm not going to focus on killing the captains. That would kind of be pointless. If we kill them, we kill them. If we don't, we don't. I don't. It's fine. But what I do want to do... Actually, we'll... it's fine. We'll go this way. It's okay. I will grab worms when I can, though, to see what we need to see. So, Pogrosh Corpse Eater, damaged by poison. No, fucking, damn it, I hit my... I didn't target him, fuck you. Anyway, Oh, there was a way to get to the army from there. I didn't actually read any of his shit. That annoys me. So damage by range attacks, execution, and fire. I don't have execution. He is a tank, heavily armored fighter that withstands immense damage, endure great pain, and capable of second wind, wave of might, terror chains, and frontline warrior. Enraged by weakness. Okay, so you're an asshole. Or can be an asshole, rather. Oh, and he's right over there.
Find whatever someone's killed him.
Like, he's close enough that I can see. Oh. That's not him. No, that is him. He's literally right there. How is he that close? What are the odds that I would, like, look up the one that's literally right next to me? Nice. Hey, look. Alright, we get to do this.
Fight on, Jack. Fight until you die.
I don't like that. He has second wind, so that's great.
You really think there's a chance of saving this city, don't you? I see it in your eyes. Not hope. Delusion.
If you say so. I'm gonna knock you on your ass, bitch. There we go. I did get level 3, so that's cool. And I got a dagger. That's also cool. Ooh.
My task more difficult.
They try to prolong the combat and exhaust us. The fools.
Alright, well, I have a skill. So, obviously, I want, Brutalize is cool, but I don't care. Death Threat, that's fun. We won't be fucking with Death Threat for a while, I think. We are getting Execution, though. That is important. Alright, so where am I? We're going here. I think as long as we don't do the missions, which we'll have to do at some point, we can clear pretty much all these guys that are on the map. And then none will spawn. Okay, so we have more fun rune things. I have to bring them in focus now. Ithildine. Find all the Ithildine in this region and return to the Ithildine door to restore the poem. Restoring the poem will open the Ithildine door and grant legendary treasure.
Form.
Alright. So, how does appendices? Oh, we don't have the door yet. Understood. We did unlock tank though. Mordor's armor. Come here, pink skin. Touch the armor you can't break. Feel the blade that flays your skin. Kruk the Stomper. Bred and trained to withstand punishment, some orcs wear the heaviest armor from Mordor's smithies. Wounds that would fell an ordinary orc don't slow them down. They're battle-hardened and less likely to flee combat, but they're also less likely to fly into a rage when confronted with something they dislike. I know this has been a very riveting hour, but it is break time. So yeah, we're gonna do that now.